It's the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Arriaga.
And today we're going to talk about something that 6 months ago or a year ago, we wouldn't be too excited to talk about, but I'm actually excited to talk about this. I'm talking, of course, about WWE. That's right. It's time to talk about WWE. Why? Because you know what? I don't know about you, Smiley, but I think the show is improving. You know, it's not perfect, but it's improving, and that's good. And I feel like the show now has some sort of a direction. And we watched Extreme Rules, and we were at the show after Extreme Rules, Monday Night Raw at the Barclays Center. So let's start with Extreme Rules. Smiley, what are some of your general thoughts on the show?
I thought the Bayley and Bianca ladder match was awesome. I thought the Seth and Matt Riddle match was good. And it gets very fuzzy after that. What? Yeah, I don't know. Look, it was good to see Walter, even though he still has the Nazi name. He's still named Gunther. I can't, I don't know why they do that. If people are getting their names back, I thought he was going to get his name back. But I don't know. Yeah, it was like a usual Extreme Rules, but slightly better because there's less wacky things. Like the good stuff was more focused. It wasn't just about their gimmicks. The fight pit match actually was the way Matt and Seth's feud was going, it justified a brutal match. And Bayley and Bianca's ladder match was actually a really good ladder match because they were trying to climb the ladder and get what was on top of the ladder. It wasn't just let's set up our spots and let's jump into wood. It was a focused ladder match. But other than that, that's the thing about WWE shows. There's a lot of what seems to be filler. It's really good stuff, and then there's this stuff that I just don't remember really.
Yeah, I would say one, Saturday pay-per-views, the best. And this show clocked in at 3 hours, which is amazing. And is that bare minimum? Yeah, it is. But to me, that means a lot because both promotions, and even in New Japan, the shows are too long. No pay-per-view, no show, live premium event, whatever you want to call it, should be more than 3 hours. There's no reason for that. But anyway, I'm also glad that Full Gear AEW is going to be on a Saturday, which is amazing. But I will say that this show, yes, it was the good and bad of WWE, but the good outweighed the bad. I couldn't say that a year ago, but did any of does this pay-per-view need to be Extreme Rules? No, it didn't. You could, with Survivor Series and War Games, you can just do a series of events that can lead to a War Games, that can lead to an Extreme Rules match, if you want to call it that. Fine, branding, I get it. But I will say on the whole, this show was pretty good. And yeah, I love the Bianca Belair and Bayley match, the women's title match, and I'll get to that in a second. It was a payoff for it. It was the end of a chapter of a story. That it's going to continue. It looks like it's going to lead to War Games, right? And it started at SummerSlam and Bayley returned with Dakota Kai and Io. It was great. There was a payoff. They rewarded you for watching week to week. That's good. That's all I asked for in pro wrestling. If you like the parties involved, that's subjective, but at least there is a direction. I could say that about the rest of the show. But I will say this. It was mostly personal issues on the show. It didn't feel like this was a sporting event. It just felt like more theater than sport. And I know wrestling is you need a happy medium, but it was more like it was a bunch of grudge matches. You know what I mean? The women's title match was the second or third match on the show. There was two of them. They were earlier on the show. The main event was just a grudge match. Yeah, it was a fight pit match. You had Daniel Cormier. But what were they fighting for? They were just kind of getting their issues.
Second women's title match?
There was two. Yeah, it was Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan, which I didn't like at all. I thought it was so
fell
goofy.
asleep through that. I didn't know that match happened.
It was awful. I didn't like it at all.
Shit.
Everything they did was just looked dumb. And yeah, like it's like I would have put one of the titles as the main event, because what are people fighting for? You know what I mean? I don't know, because
Was there a WWE title match in this?
No, Roman Reigns wasn't on the show, and he has 2 titles.
Wow.
I don't like that. Like, why am I watching this show? Like, what's the point? You know,
Yeah,
I don't
like,
know.
Bayley and Bianca definitely should have main evented. That's for sure. Because that was the only match that was actually about that was actually about the championship. It wasn't about, oh, I'm not your friend anymore, or you hurt my feelings. It was just like, listen, I'm back and I want your championship.
Yeah, and so Bayley's whole thing is that she wants to take over the women's division, right? And that having the Raw Women's Championship is, you know, that's a part of that, which I thought was a great story to tell. But like, personal issues dominated the show. But I don't want to shit on the show too much, because it was a good show. And I really liked the I Quit match between Edge and Finn Balor. Great story.
Oh, yeah, that happened too, didn't it?
Yeah,
that was really good.
That was really good. Yeah, there was a little bit too much interference for my taste. But I thought
towards the end.
They set up a lot of different things. You know, they're continuing this Rey Mysterio and Dominic thing, you know, and they set up a possible match between Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix. And Edge didn't quit because Finn was, you know, he put him to too much pain or whatever. He hurt him too much. No, because he was protecting his wife. That's great storytelling. But the thing is, there was too much of like personal drama on the show. There was not enough. I want that championship. There was too, you know what I mean? But overall, it was a good show. If you're going to watch a WWE show, you know, if you're going to watch a secondary WWE show, a show that's not Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, or SummerSlam, definitely check this show, at least a few matches. But that's really all I have to say about the show. Solid show. Again, WWE is improving. They have a direction. They're going somewhere. Creatively, Triple H has a lot of things in mind, which I respect. And that was the good thing about NXT. NXT, there was a ceiling to NXT. A lot of those guys, you know, because if you watch WWE, you know, you want to be on WrestleMania, but that's beside the point. At least NXT, there was a certain, you know, within a few years of NXT, there was a direction. There was good creative. Any other thoughts on Extreme Rules before we move on to Raw?
I just think it's kind of funny how it's Seth and Matt Riddle.
Yeah,
Seth was supposed to be like the heel, right? But for reasons, I couldn't help but like root for everything he was saying about Matt Riddle. But that was like it was like the second best match in the card. Probably the third. Like, well, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I love the I Quit match, but the I Quit match is probably third best because it's just, I don't know. It's just too much hoopla. Like a lot of run-ins. I guess they're for a reason, but there's this like. It almost felt like Lord of the Rings. Like when I thought the movie was gonna end, there was more. There was a lot more, but like it was still very good because like Finn Balor and Edge are awesome. The Fight Pit match was the second best match in the show, even though in hindsight I probably would have liked it. I know they have to do everything extreme, everything has to be a no DQ match. That match probably would have been better if it was just two of them wrestling, having a wrestling match, because Matt Riddle and Seth especially is amazing. But yeah, I would say definitely the Bayley and Bianca match was the best. That definitely should have been last because it actually felt like it was for something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, also, okay, we could talk about the white rabbit in the room. That's Bray Wyatt. He re-debuted. That was the closing moments of the show. It was a nice entrance. The crowd was going nuts. And here's the thing. This is the third re-presentation of Bray Wyatt. Right, so I don't know. The thing is, like, in watching, you know, they did tease it at Raw, which we'll talk about Raw in a minute, but they teased Bray Wyatt at Raw with, you know, they had a little quick vignette. He didn't do any. We didn't see him in the ring. I don't know if there was I don't think there was a backstage thing with him, but on SmackDown he came out and cut a promo, and it was almost like a quote unquote shoot promo, like he wasn't quote unquote in character. And he started, you know, he was very emotional talking about the fans and what have you. But I'm like, dude, all this is like theater, right? What wrestling context are like, what, like, do you want a title? Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Cody, when he came back to WWE, he had a point. He wants to obtain what his dad never had, the WWE title. It's easy, simple. That's it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be spooky and wacky, like, make movies. Just make movies, man. he'll be great. Bray Wyatt's character would be great in a movie or a TV show or something, like American Horror Story, something like that. Not in wrestling, but I'm willing to give this the benefit of the doubt, but this doesn't seem like wrestling to me. I don't know. What do you think, Smiley?
I want to say I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but that would literally be like the second time I'm doing that.
The third
Last time
time
I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
A Hell in a Cell ended in a DQ. Seth burned down the Blues Clues house. The sweater Bray Wyatt started wrestling, even though the whole point was I was supposed to be inside of the house. I really tried. Oh yeah, and oh yeah, that's right. Alexa Bliss became a 4-year-old for like 2 months straight, or for whatever it was.
Oh my god.
I look. He blew out a lancer and everyone like cheered. Like I don't know. I can't get excited for Bray Wyatt anymore. Like unless he became a better worker. Because here's the thing: people love to compare it to the Undertaker. Like the Undertaker, yes, had weird stuff. But the thing is, like at the end of the day, the Undertaker wanted titles. He wanted to beat people. He had feuds, and oh yeah, that's right. And he didn't terrorize his opponents with puppets. You remember Randy Orton was afraid of puppets? Remember that? He'd have interviews and puppets.
He had goo out of his mouth.
Puppets would come out of the scenery. Randy Orton is a guy who RKO'd Cody Rhodes' father in front of him. Remember when Cody Rhodes was in Legacy?
Yeah.
Randy Orton RKO'd his father in front of him. He almost ripped off Jeff Hardy's ear, right?
Yep.
RKO Triple H's wife in front of him. He's an evil man. He's afraid of a guy with puppets.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. We talk about his work. Okay, that's another conversation. The thing is, when he talks, I never know what the hell he's talking about and why I should care. People like, yes, his delivery is good, but the content, it's nonsense. But anyway.
It's like Jordan or Lucas. Like everyone says, like, "Oh man, you hear what he's saying? You hear what he's saying?" And he's saying stuff, but like, it's like he's not saying anything anyone hasn't said before.
Yeah,
and
it's like a bunch.
And he's saying it, and he's overrated. Like, to put it quite the least. I don't know. He's very overrated.
It's rappers with fast flows that just rap fast and don't say. There's nothing. There's no meat. But anyway, Raw at the Barclays Center, the Monday after. A lot of questions coming off of Extreme Rules, but when I watched Extreme Rules and I saw a lot of all those matches end, and it was obviously a continuation of something else, it actually made me interested to see what was going to happen. I want to see the follow-up to Edge and Finn Balor, the Judgment Day stuff, and it looks like it's going to lead to War Games or something. Yeah, I thought it was, but it was an interesting show. Like, I haven't been interested in a Raw in quite some time. I was curious to see when Cody came back. Like, I did watch that. That was kind of cool. But there was a lot of cool things. I mean, I did enjoy the Lashley and Seth match from a lot of reasons. For like a psychology storytelling standpoint, like Seth was he was hurt from the Fight Pit match, and Lashley came out first. He looked very confident. He's like, yeah, it's gonna, but then here comes Lesnar, right?
Yeah, Brock came out.
Here comes Lesnar. Good evening, Bobby. And he kills him. He beats the shit out of him.
As soon as he lifted him up, like the place literally erupted.
Yeah.
Like I almost forgot a title match what's gonna happen, to be honest with you. It was like, oh shit, it's like this Raw felt like how Raw would normally how a decent Raw would feel like, a standard Raw. Like, because it's long, there are some parts that feel like nothing. And then when like stars come out, it's like, oh shit. Like when Bianca ran out, everyone was happy to see her.
Ooh, that Candice LeRae and Bayley match, Jesus Christ.
I love Bayley, but like, Candice, that match with her and Bayley has like no steam. But then when Bianca came out, everyone like, oh shit.
Yeah, Bianca came out, the crowd erupted. And yeah, but the Lesnar stuff is awesome. I didn't expect to see Lesnar, because this is like amazing. It's October, right? You don't expect anything to be set up for a big pay-per-view for a little while, because that's par for the course of WWE. The fall is usually like, kind of quiet. Creatively, there's not a lot of big things that happen, but Lesnar coming back, I'm like, oh my God. but there is Saudi Arabia in a few weeks, so there you go.
Yeah, we're not gonna watch that.
Hell no, I'm not. But anyway, that was really cool. He beat the shit out of him. So now Seth and Bobby are at an even playing field, and Bobby did a great job of selling that, the attack, and Seth was so confident, even though he was hurt as well. And oh man, it was quick and to the point, and then Seth got the victory, and we all know why. It protected Bobby too. Yeah, he lost, but like
he got F5 like twice and like suplex and like thrown around by Lesnar. So
yeah, he got attacked unprovoked and everything. It was really good. That was really cool. Like you don't see stuff like that in WWE often, like stuff that really kind of, because I went to the SmackDown before WrestleMania. That show was cold as ice. I feel like nothing happened. It was a bunch of video packages and 2-minute matches that meant nothing. And some of the segments that led up to WrestleMania matches were just so stupid and pointless. But anyway, this show is the complete opposite. And we were coming off of a B pay-per-view. It's not, WrestleMania is not next, Royal Rumble's not next. Saudi Arabians and Survivor Series are next. You know what I mean? But it felt like a really interesting show. I don't know.
Do you appreciate how Sami Zayn was more over than everybody in the bloodline?
Yeah, I mean they did get a great reaction though. Like,
I mean, they did. I mean, like, but literally the hardest, like, the only difficult part of that segment was Roman's horrible theme song. But Sami Zayn was ridiculously over.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
like it was crazy. Everything he did, everyone like just like everything he said, like everyone like ate up every word.
Solo Sikoa just standing there, not selling anything Sammy's doing. He was so good. Yeah. Oh man, he was so good.
It was funny after Brock Lesnar murdered Bobby Lashley. We were there at the show with Dad, and Dad was like, "Why did he do that to him?" And I'm like, "When the hell has Brock Lesnar needed a reason to hurt anybody? He beat up a man with one leg. Remember?"
Oh man, yeah, Zach Gowen. He beat the piss out of him.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, why did he do that to him? Like,
he had a match against Stephanie McMahon on SmackDown.
Oh my God.
9/11/2003. And he picked up the steps. He picked up steel steps and tossed it at Stephanie. But that was when Stephanie and Vince was like one of the main feuds on SmackDown. So you have to think to yourself, that's why Brock left in 2004. God. Anyway, but Brock was amazing because you know what it is? We're talking about Bray Wyatt, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with Bray Wyatt. Lesnar, he goes out there, he says one sentence, a phrase, "Good evening, Bobby," and beats the shit out of him. It was perfect. Yeah,
Brock is all about simplicity. Like,
yes.
He just has to walk out there.
God, that was brilliant. That's all I asked. Anyway, what else stood out to you during Raw?
Raw? Yikes. Okay, it was Brock, Sammy, Bianca, Rey Mysterio. Oh yeah, we saw Rey Mysterio in the flesh. That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
The segment was a little dramatic, I guess.
Yeah, because it's his son. He doesn't want to beat the shit out of his son, even though that's where it's leading to. I thought that was good, but Dominic is just, I don't know, man. He's a guy, he should be at like the Indies for like a few years or something. Because he doesn't look like, I can't take him seriously now. Honestly, like you're about to be in a program with your dad, and he's like carrying the emotional weight of this because it's Rey Mysterio Jr. He's a super legend. But I don't know, man. I respect what they're doing. I see what they're doing, but I don't know. I can't take Dominic seriously like that. But anyway.
No, like, because Dominic is supposed to be this badass. They're trying to make him this, I don't know if a badass heel. They're trying to make him this huge heel because, he's a punk. He's disrespecting his father. He's beating up his dad on TV. But the thing is, because Rhea Ripley batted her eyelashes at him. But it's just, he's a literal baby face. He has a literal baby face. It's really hard to,
He's got height. Height is a good advantage, but that's it. The show Raw's too long. If I'm gonna say one thing,
AJ brought back his friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Good Brothers are back. Gallows and Anderson. That's good. Good for them. He's back with his friend. He belongs there with AJ. They're a fine act. Just don't call nobody nerds anymore. And It's if
Yeah,
you're gonna come back, make sure you like, keep the wacky stuff on Talking Shop Mania. You know, keep that over there. Keep the nerd stuff away. That we're done with that.
Keep the BTE stuff out of like
Please.
that's like when the Good Brothers went to AEW.
Yeah.
Like I thought at first, oh great, yeah, because the Good Brothers, yeah, they're talented. Carl Anderson's a great wrestler, and Luke Gallows is a great worker. But then they just started doing all this goofy stuff, like thrusting on camera, like jerking, like doing jerking off motions on camera and stuff. It was just like, what are you guys doing? What is this? Just have good matches. I don't understand. So hopefully it's more focused this time around. Now they're back in WWE.
Hopefully yeah. Well, we'll see. It's again, all this stuff's is probably gonna lead to war games, which is good. But overall, I thought it was a good show. And WWE's kind of interesting to watch now. There's still some stuff I don't like, but it's improving. That's good, and fans are interested now to watch it. The ratings are better than they were before, which is a good thing. But I just think there's too much. There's a lot of programs that have nothing to do. Nobody wants to win any titles. It seems like the only titles people want to win are the Intercontinental and the US title on the men's side, or the tag team title.
Wait, who are the tag team champions again?
The Usos.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Actually, I think they're adding more tag teams, but I keep forgetting about the tag team division. Honestly.
Yeah, because they got it's in one group, and there's no one seems to want anything. It's just, I don't think that's what you want from a wrestling show, if that's what you want to be. But it's a lot of personal drama. But all in all, it's a solid show. Everyone's there's something. There's a direction. They have something. Things are going to lead to something. There's going to be a payoff, which is good.
One thing they should have done after Roman won his titles, the same thing with the tag team titles with the Usos. They should have had a unification ceremony, like unify both belts, and like that would be a good time to unveil new belts. They should do the same thing with the women's titles too, like because I don't know, this whole thing with 2 world titles, 2 women's titles, 2 tag titles. It's been too much for a while.
Yeah, we don't need it.
I know a lot of changes happening. So if a lot of changes happen, that's one good thing to change, to me at least.
Yeah, we had the brand extension for 20 years. We don't need it anymore. We said it last time. We don't need it anymore. We don't need it. 2 shows, I understand. But two separate titles, it doesn't make sense. Especially one of the Roman Reigns not being on the show every week. I get it. Family man, immunocompromised, I think. He had leukemia a bunch of times. I understand why he doesn't want to be on the road all the time. Great. The thing is, the show feels kind of empty without a men's world title. Yeah, you got women's titles, but they're not presented in the same light as the men's title. They're not presented as main event titles. They aren't. If you just watch the show, literally, both women's title matches were like the first couple matches on the Extreme Rules show. Both of them. They were almost back to back to each other.
Like if you treat your titles like, oh, you get one, then you're devaluing. You not only like every like superstar is competing for these titles, but you're devaluing your championships. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't need that many. You really just don't need that many titles, honestly.
Yeah. But all in all, Extreme Rules is good. Raw is good. Can you say that WWE, at least on TV, is more watchable than maybe 6 months to a year ago?
I mean, yeah, of course, but like, yeah, like I guess people are getting their names back. They, there seems to be a lot less strict. Like the rules aren't as strict when it comes to how people talk. People can actually say natural words like, oh, we can say we're on a wrestling show. We can say that we're wrestling, where there's more of a focus on wrestling, but obviously they still have to shake some things, like, the overabundance of titles. Just like like Seth lost a grudge match with Matt Riddle, and Seth was getting a title shot the next day, like 2 days later. And so it's like, why not add Matt Riddle into the match? I don't like Matt Riddle, but like, why not add him into the match if he's the one that got that big win over Seth?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is weird. I'm not sure. I didn't see.
Is Matt Riddle challenging Roman?
Yeah, but he can't. There was a stipulation, like I think he can't challenge Roman anymore, as long as Roman's the champion or something like that. And it was weird. I'm like, oh, you just had.
Why did he come out then?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like that it's a little wacky, but yeah, overall, yes, there's potholes and a lot and some of the stuff. I just think overall the show's getting better. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Arriaga.
It's the Wrestling Caucus, and we'll come back for Full Gear. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wait, Full Gear is gonna be at the Prudential Center?
Mm-hmm. Jersey. First AEW pay-per-view in the tri-state. That should be interesting.
Oh yeah, because last time they were at the Prudential Center was just for like a Dynamite Grand Slam.
Yeah, it was before Grand Slam. Remember, because the Prudential show that we went to, that was supposed to be Blood and Guts, but then COVID. So that September, that Prudential Dynamite was a make good for that 2020 Dynamite, and then they had Grand Slam the week after that. Yeah, so this time it's a full blown pay per view. So yeah, all right, we're gonna wrap it up. We'll see y'all in November to talk AEW Full Gear. All right, later days.